Tonight on Cronkite News, a look into the rough start of the Diamondbacks this season.
Plus, thousands of soccer fans from all over the world arrive in the Valley for the CONCACAF Gold Cup.
And Governor Hobbs ceremoniously signs the new state budget, which goes into effect today, what it means for the people of our state. Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Kobe Mitchell.
And I'm Lindsay Dean. Thank you for joining us.
We begin tonight in the world of baseball. And let's not sugarcoat it. The Diamondbacks are struggling, and they've had to battle through some injuries and some lengthy losing skids, but they do have a plan. It's been a lackluster season for the Diamondbacks. The team has flat out just failed to meet expectations. And with the July 31st trade deadline looming, the clock is ticking.
We can't say we have a lot of time. We can't say that we have, a lot of baseball to play and it's going to play itself out. We got to do it right now.
The D-backs are sitting at a mundane .500 on the season, and one of their pitfalls has been their bullpen. They've racked up 15 blown saves, but they're not looking back.
Honestly, I'm kind of just sitting there myself, trying to get myself locked in. Even with the struggles, a lot of older guys, they keep a clean head on their shoulders day in, day out, regardless of, what they did the night before, if they blew a game or if they didn't have the outing they wanted.
You're going to have ups and downs during the season. The ebbs and flows, and just trying to minimize those downturns and trying to swing them back up as soon as possible.
Now the Diamondbacks are in tough. They are 5 games back of a wild card spot, and they have 19 players on the injured list, one of which is Corbin Carroll, who's nursing a fractured wrist.
Yeah, I think the big thing right now, I can do pretty much everything except hit, and that's kind of the last little thing that, not so little thing that we have to check off.
Carroll will begin taking swings as early as this week, and he's hopeful to return before the All-Star break. And with the division rival Giants in town, there is urgency. But the Snakes aren't ready to slither away just yet. The D-backs will wrap up their season series against the Giants on Thursday. They'll host the Kansas City Royals over the weekend before hitting the road for a critical series against the San Diego Padres.
But high-level baseball in Arizona is not just at Chase Field. It is all over the Valley with the Arizona Complex League. The ACL is in full swing. A league that has been around since 1988 brings you up close to professional players starting at the lowest level of Major League Baseball.
All the guys that are majority of the time when they're here, they're going to make it up to Visalia and help out with our low A affiliate. But it's really a good foundation base for the draft guys after they get drafted.
Along with laying the groundwork for the future MLB teams, it's also helpful for the present Major League players who often spend their rehab assignments across the ACL, and for coaches looking to make their way to the big leagues.
Now that the NBA season is over, it's time for contract negotiations. The Suns have already started to move some major pieces like trading Kevin Durant, But there hasn't been any official news on franchise player Devin Booker. Now, Booker's been the face of the Suns since he arrived to the Valley in 2015. And according to senior NBA insider Chris Haynes, the 4-time NBA All-Star is in conversations about a potential contract extension. In 2022, he signed a 4-year extension, which comes to an end at 2028. The latest deal is being considered a 2-year, $150 million Supermax contract.
There's more to soccer tournaments than just a game between two countries. Thousands of soccer fans from here in the Valley and around the world filled State Farm Stadium to support their national teams.
That's right, Lindsay. And the representation and pride within each culture doesn't go unnoticed. Cronkite News reporter Gabriela Salguero gives us more information on how these coaches and players recognize the efforts made by these fans.
Thousands of fans wore their pride on their backs as they filed in to watch the CONCACAF quarterfinal games featuring 3 Latin American countries, Mexico, Honduras, and Panama. As they get ready for the games, players notice their enthusiasm.
We feel identified with every Mexican that stops by the hotel. The truth is that this is an honor for me to come here and to have their support. It truly motivates me, and I focus on doing better.
45,000 fans filled the seats as they watched their respective teams compete for a chance to advance to the semifinals. Coaches say that during the games, they felt as if they never left their countries.
It's really nice to come to American cities we have been to and to see the affection the Mexican fans show us. You feel right at home.
even if that home is just around the corner or a plane ride away. Players and coaches appreciate the sacrifices fans make to fill the seats in arenas throughout the country.
The Hondurans travel 12 hours, 8 hours, 24 hours by plane, by train, by car, and whatever it is, to be with the team. I think it's the great heritage that Honduran soccer has.
Fans don't get many opportunities to attend games like this in the U.S., but when they do, these fans make sure their presence is felt. And for players and coaches, it's almost a sense of responsibility to make their efforts worth it.
That's why I'm committed to telling them to give their all so that people leave happy and proud to take out their flag and feel Mexican, to represent it.
Although there might be political uncertainty around immigration, players and coaches only notice the positivity and pride for the different countries and soccer. In Glendale, Gabriela Salguero, Cronkite News.
With the motivation from the fans, Mexico and Honduras advance to face each other in the semifinals, which will take place tomorrow at Levi Stadium. Coming up next, Cronkite News reporter Brandon Cadiz joins us live.
Yeah, Lindsay, the 4th of July, it can be pretty dangerous for pets. Find out what tips and tricks specialists have that may be a good idea to protect your pets this holiday.
And speaking of the 4th, how hot is it going to be when it's time to start grilling? Your 4th of July forecast is next.
This is where Cronkite can be creative.
When I was younger, there were no engineers around me. So I had to become my own role model. At ASU, I wasn't just learning to be an engineer. I was actually engineering. And graduating, I already had real-world jobs lined up. Before ASU, my goal was to be a strong, confident woman. And when I left, I became a strong, confident engineer.
Now, what you just saw was the City of Phoenix 4th of July show last year, a sight that's in our near future this Friday. While fireworks can be fun to watch, they can also be dangerous, Lindsay.
Yes, we spoke with a local fire department about some tips to stay safe. According to the Consumer Production Safety Commission, over 14,000 ER visits came from firework accidents, along with 11 deaths in 2024. Pat Shanahan, the Public Information Officer for Tempe Fire Department, encourages the public to be mindful this Friday.
Use legal fireworks. We live in a dry environment. It's the summertime. Firing things up into the air that can explode and fall down on your neighbor's roof, into dry brush. That's a recipe for disaster. So,
before throwing away your used fireworks, soak them in water to make sure the flame is fully extinguished.
The City of Phoenix also suggests that you keep a safe distance away from lit fireworks, choose a safe location away from trees and bushes, and lastly, safely secure your pets. And speaking of pets, owners are trying to find ways to get their fur babies ready for the holiday. Around 33% of pet owners plan holiday celebrations around their pet fears.
Cronkite News reporter Brandon Cadiz joins us from Halo Animal Shelter with more on how to keep our little guys safe.
Yeah, that's right, guys. Fireworks range anywhere from 120 to 175 decibels, which is a lot louder than what animals hear on a daily basis. That's why it causes them anxiety and stress and might lead some animals to run away during the 4th of July. That's why I'm here at Halo Animal Rescue to talk about the importance of why getting your pets chipped is crucial this Independence Day. I'm joined here by Aaron Denmark to discuss these issues.
Yes, it is so important to get your pets chipped. We do offer a special here, and you can do microchipping for your pets at Halo. We do register it for you as well, and it's important if you have your pet already chipped to have updated information. Make sure your cell phone number is updated and address, because once your pet is chipped, then somebody who finds that animal can scan it quite easily and then reunite you with your fur baby.
And if they can't come in before the 4th of July, these pet owners, what can they do at home to ensure that their pets are safe during the 4th of July?
A lot of easy steps. Put on the TV, have music going, make it a very calm environment, and just be with them. Also, make sure that their tag and collar are on with also updated information.
And what is Halo Animal Rescue doing for these animals here in the shelter to be ready for the fireworks on the 4th?
Yes, so we do have music playing for them at night as well when we're not here. We do have volunteers that come in and help socialize, but also they are all chipped as well.
Thanks, Aaron. Those are all great tips. Remember to turn your music up, put your TV on, of course, keep your pets in at home, and get them medicated if needed. In Phoenix, Brandon Cadiz, Cronkite News.
Along with fireworks concerns, temperatures are heating up, so make sure your pets are properly hydrated.
And get out early before the fireworks shows or even after the sunset drops for those walks.
So what can we expect on the 4th when it comes to weather across the valley?
Emily Paulson joins us now from the Weather Center with details. Emily, will it be too hot to grill outside?
I'll let the anticipation build on that grilling question for 4th of July, but as we look into tonight's evening planner, you can see that we're still going to be in that 100-degree mark all the way through the evening, even 101 still as you head to bed around 10 p.m. And if you're here in the valley across the day, you probably saw a lot of haziness here in Maricopa County as we were in an unhealthy air quality alert and specifically a high pollution advisory today and tomorrow. So you want to limit those outdoor activities for the rest of the evening and into tomorrow, especially if you're an older adult or have children. And looking around the state tomorrow, you can see that we have a drastic change from the north down to the south in temperatures tomorrow, around the 50-degree mark up in the Grand Canyon, and then as you get back down here in the valley, be around that 80-degree mark. And those temperatures are only going to get higher as we head through the rest of tomorrow, as on the western half of the state, 106 in Bullhead City, 105 down in Yuma, and as you make your way back here to Phoenix, it'll be around that same of 104. And over the next 3 days, you can see those temperatures are going to stick around that same mark of 104, which is actually below average for this time of year. And we might even have a chance for rain on Thursday. And 4th of July is looking nice, but you want to soak it up because over the next 8 days, those temperatures are going to climb, as it will be 112 on Tuesday and 113 on Wednesday. And speaking of 4th of July, and going back to your grilling question, that'll be the best day to grill for you. So you want to fire that grill up, get those hot dogs and hamburgers going, as it's going to be a beautiful day here in Phoenix. In the Cronkite Weather Center, I'm Emily Paulson. Back to Lindsay and Kobe at the desk.
Coming up next, President Trump toured the new immigrant detention facility known as Alligator Alcatraz.
The controversial center is surrounded by wetlands and dangerous wildlife.
Alligator Alcatraz, which is very appropriate because I looked outside and that's not a place I want to go hiking anytime soon.
We'll have details on the controversial center when we return after this quick break.
Who are on different communities. And when you do that, you're able to network not only, but also get to engage, talk to people, and make life friends.
I think that definitely surprised me, the community that I would find, because I wasn't really expecting it.
Freedom.
Friendly. Nice. I'd say cozy.
This is where Cronkite can be creative.
I'm Jessica Poole with a look at the news headlines from around the country in Arizona. Governor Katie Hobbs putting pen to paper today, celebrating what she calls a bipartisan balanced budget. Hobbs held a ceremonial signing at the Capitol today for what she calls the Arizona Promise Budget. The budget was passed by the state legislature last week, just days before the deadline. This after House Republicans wouldn't take up the Senate's budget, saying it was, quote, full of pork and Democrat victories. Ultimately, Hobbs says she's proud of the work lawmakers were able to accomplish, but it could have been done sooner.
3 out of 4 caucuses and my office were actively engaged in negotiating a bipartisan budget that you saw get out with broad support for weeks before this deadline loomed. And one caucus decided to go rogue and nearly derail the whole package. So you'll have to ask them about that.
The budget goes into effect today. Key provisions include a pay raise for first responders, highway improvements, and more money for schools. The Maricopa County Recorder is explaining why more than 80,000 people were told that their voter registration may be in jeopardy. Some voters in Maricopa County received letters last month indicating that they obtained a driver's license in another state, which could lead them to be removed from Arizona's registration. But County Recorder Justin Heap says the letters were sent in error by a third-party vendor and says his office is taking the steps necessary to prevent it from happening again. Heap also made it clear that no voter records were affected due to this error. In the midst of the Oak Ridge fire, which has been burning parts of the Navajo Nation since June 29th, officials are asking residents to, quote, stay calm, trust reliable sources, and help one another. About 350 firefighters are battling the blaze, with crews assigned to divisions managing containment zones. Officials have warned that shifting winds continue to pose risk for ground crews, with speeds increasing. Team leaders said the current focus is protecting homes and infrastructure until conditions allow for direct suppression. Around 100 families have evacuated, with 5 households choosing to remain. Now, members of the Navajo Nation Council are urging presidents to check on the neighbors. Now, on a lighter note, happy Canada Day to our neighbors to the north. Arizona is home to nearly 20,000 Canadians, according to the World Population Review. Now, this doesn't include the snowbirds who live here half of the year. July 1st marks the anniversary of when the British colonies of North America united that nation in 1867. Taking a look at the news around the country, President Donald Trump toured a new immigrant detention facility today located in Florida Everglades, dubbed Alligator Alcatraz. So named because it has only one road going into the center, and it was surrounded by wetlands and dangerous wildlife. The center will include up to 5,000 beds to house and process undocumented immigrants. The project is opposed by a number of groups over human rights, environmental, and native rights concerns.
With the alligator Alcatraz, is the idea that if some illegal immigrant escapes, they just get eaten by an alligator or a snake or something?
I guess that's the concept. This is not a nice business. I guess that's the concept. If the snakes are fast, but alligators are, but we're going to teach them how to run away from an alligator, okay? If they escape prison, how to run away. Don't run in a straight line. Run like this. And you know what? Your chances go up about 1%.
Now, according to the Department of Homeland Security, Alligator Alcatraz will cost Florida approximately $450 million to run for a year, although much of it will be reimbursed by FEMA. And in Washington, the Senate passed President Trump's big, beautiful bill today along party lines, with Vice President J.D. Vance breaking a 50-50 tie for Republicans. But the GOP still has work to do in order to make a bill a reality. They must get it through a narrowly divided House of Representatives. Republicans are trying to get the so-called budget bill on the president's desk by Friday, but representatives on both sides of the aisle have a lot to say about the bill today.
The One Big Beautiful Bill Act is the real deal. It's what Americans voted for when they put their trust in President Trump.
This bill will hurt people in every congressional district in this country, and Republicans are racing to get it passed before the American people can figure out what's in it.
The big, beautiful, now members of the House of Representatives are expected to return to Washington tomorrow to vote. That will do it for tonight's news headlines. I'm Jessica Poole. Now back to Lindsay and Kobe at the desk.
Coming up next, we take you back into sports and onto the football field.
Phoenix native Ricky Pearsall is giving back with one act of generosity for his community.
Here, and I'm just so thankful to have that.
The 49ers receiver hosted a football camp for kids in Tempe after a scary, life-changing first season.
This is where Cronkite can be creative.
When I was younger, there were no engineers around me. So I had to become my own role model. At ASU, I wasn't just learning to be an engineer. I was actually engineering. And graduating, I already had real-world jobs lined up. Before ASU, my goal was to be a strong, confident woman. And when I left, I became a strong, confident engineer.
He's now wearing red and gold for the San Francisco 49ers, but wide receiver Ricky Pearsall hasn't forgotten where it all started, Lindsay.
That's right. The former Arizona high school standout returned to his roots, hosting a free youth camp at his alma mater. I went to the camp to find out more about Ricky and his football camp. More than 300 kids took the field at Corona del Sol High School, not just for football, but for a chance to learn from someone who once stood exactly where they are now.
He just kept to the grind and did the work and continued to get better. And I think that's kind of the storyline for a lot of our kids. Do the work, stay focused, stay grounded, and who knows what can happen.
That story? Ricky Pearsall's, now an NFL wide receiver, but still deeply rooted in his Arizona hometown. His message to these kids? It takes more than talent to make it.
It takes a village. It takes a whole city, and, they had my back through it all. I got a really great support system. I come from a really great place here, and, I'm just so thankful to have that.
Pearsall spent hours running drills, signing autographs, and sharing his journey, one full of hard work, setbacks, and persistence. Just 10 days before his NFL debut, he was shot in the chest during an attempted robbery. But 50 days later, he was recovered and on the field making an impact.
Because of what happened to Ricky, and he had to be so persistent to get back on his feet, and just enjoy every minute. And when you're down on your luck or you're having a hard time, you just got to get back up and get going.
For Pearsall's family, giving back to the place where it all began is more than a gesture. It's a full circle moment.
From when he was 6 years old, he dreamed of doing this. And so all the coaches, they have a pivotal part of where he is today.
And even with the spotlight on him as he enters his second season in the NFL, Pearsall says the grind never stops.
I think I'm a person that's, I'm never satisfied. I always look at other people that are at a high level, even if we're on the same level, just put into my game, put into my life, and, just get better.
Ricky Pearsall says this is just the beginning. He hopes to keep building this camp every offseason, continuing to inspire future generations right here at home. And who knows, maybe one of those kids out there will be catching passes with Pearsall one day instead of from him. Either way, Ricky is making big plays on and off the field.
It's pretty inspiring stuff, Lindsay. That's it for tonight's edition of Cronkite News. I'm Kobe Mitchell.
And I'm Lindsay Dean. Thank you for joining us. And to see top Arizona stories anytime, log on to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.